Welcome to the Contrarians and welcome to Wednesday. It is the Contrarians live chat. Our topic tonight, where's the band? We've got a big panel tonight. We want to hear from you in the comments. Let's do it. Hey, welcome everybody. We are here and we are live and it's Wednesday and you know what we're here for, ladies and gentlemen. It's a Contrarians live chat. I want to welcome tonight's panel, Mr. Lodano, Mr. Johnny Metal with his ruggedness, Jamie Laszlo, Martin Popoff. We've got Tim Durling and myself. Peter Kerr's supposed to be here as well. He's not here, but you know, when we're live, we have to go, and if we'll bring Peter in as we go. All right, welcome panel. How are you? We've got a lot to get through, so we need to keep this moving. And as always, we do 3, 3, and 4. And we're going to go Mr. Lodano. We're going to go Mr. Metal, Jamie, Martin, Tim, and myself, and 3, 3, and 4. Let's do it. And we want to hear from you in the chat, ladies and gentlemen, because why we're here. All right, Mike, you're up. What's your first 3?
So the idea here was to pick some CDs with not the complete band on the cover. A few people were asking me what this meant. This first band that I'm going to pick, it's not their first album where they pulled this stunt. That would be 1997's Half Alive. I would kind of argue that this band isn't really even a band anymore, but that's an argument for another day. I don't think they've been a band since Paul Hackman was killed in that van accident in 92. In 2006, they issued this excellent EP, Get Up, and I was disappointed to see on the front cover just Brian Vollmer once again. I was like, you know, let's at least pretend that it's a band. He had a new lineup that he was all excited about, these hot new members, and, you know, they sounded great live. I saw them on this tour here when they released the EP. It was great. And that was followed by a full-length album called The Power of Rock and Roll. And again, it's just Mr. Vollmer on the cover. He's got no backing band. You know, it's disappointing to me, but the thing is, the guys that play on the albums, they weren't the guys in the touring band. And that's another thing that kind of bugs me. You know, you'd have a touring band. It was the Helix lineup, these 5 guys. But anyway.
You know, Michael, that's kind of going to be the point of this episode quite often, or one of the main narratives. It's like you're just shooting yourself in the foot by showing the fluidity of the band. I mean, and if it's not the touring band who's on the album, just simply don't put any band on the album. Just use the brand, right?
Right.
And they got that, and they got the great logo. Use it.
Yeah. There's the logo right there, and it looks fantastic.
But the rest of the album cover looks horrendous as far as I'm concerned.
No comment. I know some people that might be involved with the artwork. Anyway.
Oh, well, it's horrendous.
My last pick is a very special pick because it just arrived here yesterday, thanks to Johnny Klauser himself. Here it is. I've been looking for this for a long time. Iron Maiden's Live Plus One EP.
I'm making you big. Show that. Oh, wow. Look at that.
Just Paul and just Steve on the cover. I think you can probably make out Adrian barely behind Steve, and you can see Clive's drum kit, but there's no Dave. I don't want to tell you how much I paid for this. I saw it in person in 2013 at a record show. It was $100, and I didn't buy it because I didn't realize that 2 of the live tracks on this are exclusive to this EP. So I paid a lot of money, and Johnny Klauser was absolutely fabulous about mailing this to me. Thank you, Johnny. No Iron Maiden Live Plus One, my newest treasure here at Grab a Stack of Rock.
So you're trying to say you bought it off Mr. Johnny Metal?
I asked Johnny Metal to look for it when he was going to a record show about 3 weeks ago, and he's like, "Well, I've never seen one of those before." And I said, no worries," and he freaking found one.
Well, he's a professional. That's why we call him Johnny Metal.
It was a shock to me too.
All right, cool.
All right.
That's 3, correct? All right, keep me in line, gentlemen.
Take a quick look over at the comments here. A lot of people are chiming in. I don't see too many examples yet, although we've got Ash's Concert Video Showroom has mentioned AC/DC Blow Up Your Video. I think we're going to see some AC/DC today. Many Jethro Tull album covers, says Uncle Meat. I'm not sure we're seeing any Jethro Tull today, so that's good to see. Let's see, and everybody else just kind of chiming in and saying hi. We got 53 watching already, which is very cool. On to Johnny Metal.
Okay. So Grant, I hope you got my updated list.
I don't know. We'll soon find out.
So my first one here is I always say that there's just one set of Gallagher brothers that means anything to me, and that would be John and Mark of Raven. And so I went with Mad because look at that love, look at that face only a mother could love.
Horrible album cover.
Jesus. Oh boy, you could tell that this was an album that they wanted to stick to the record company, and Mark just has a great aggressive face here. So gotta love that. Great album, by the way. Let's see. My next one. Let's go back in time a little bit to a little reissue compilation that came out in the early '80s from The Doors. Alive She Cried. Of course, you got Jim on there. Of course, you know, Jim's the focal point of the band pretty much, but this is a pretty good little kind of studio outtake live album. Good stuff on there.
Come on, you're saying that Ray sitting in his little work desk there isn't the focal point of the band?
Well, maybe. That's a good point.
Come on, Johnny Metal.
Good point. You're right. But anyway, okay, next one is this one's going to be from a band out of Kentucky. I think I've talked about these guys a few times. The brothers Thompson from the band Bride and their album Kinetic Faith. So yes, the rest of the band is nowhere to be found on this cover, but the Thompson brothers are there. So that's my first three.
Nice. All right, on to Jamie.
Seeing a lot of awful album covers too on this show.
Yeah,
all of them have been horrible so far.
Martin, you said there's no Jethro Tull in this show. I got Jethro Tull as my first pick.
All right, let her rip.
My first two picks are in the classification of sometimes a band member kind of becomes a mascot of the band. Hence, Ian Anderson of Jethro Tull, as you can see.
God, I was hoping that was the record you were talking about because you wrote Stormwatch. And I'm going Stormwatch.
Stormwatch.
No, I mean, what was the other one? You wrote something else. Storm.
Did I write something else? Stormfront. Whoops.
Stormfront.
Yeah, my bad. That was an error. But as you can see, he's kind of like a mascot on it, starting with Aqualung.
Yeah.
And my next one, I think someone else has AC/DC coming up, and they can elaborate on it. But Angus Young kind of becomes a mascot on like Who Made Who and Ball Breaker and Stiff Upper Lip and Blow Up Your Video. And it kind of starts right here with
High Voltage.
Yeah, High Voltage. He was a mascot.
High Voltage, yeah.
Power Age.
My next one is a live album, and it was a live film as well. And I think they knew when everybody was going to see this part of the movie that it was going to become an iconic, like music iconic moment instantly. So they put it right on the cover of the album and right on the cover of the movie poster, I think. And that is David Byrne on Talking Heads Stop Making Sense with the suit. Yeah. I mean, first time you saw the suit, you never forgot it. So put it right on.
Nice. There. Good job. All right. Yeah, we got some good ones coming in now. We've got David Lee Roth Skyscraper says D-Rocker. We've got 2 Rolling Stone live albums from Uncle Meat here. Get Your Yayas Out and Love You Live. So, yeah, I think we got Charlie on one and 2 of the guys on another, right? Nick and somebody, I think. Toto Hydra. Gary. Who is that on there? I can't.
That's
that is.
It's not Steve Lukather. I used to think it was Steve Lukather. I don't think it is.
Who was the keyboard player? Help me.
It's David. That's not David Page either. That's no one in the band on Hydra.
It is. Yes, it is.
Is it really? It doesn't look like him at all.
All right.
Keep going through the brothers.
Maybe someone can tell us. So,
one of the Picaros?
It's a Picaro brother.
Kind of got Lukather's hair, but then it shows him on the back, and he's all muscly.
No, it's a Picaro brother with the curly hair.
Oh, okay. Steve.
All right.
Steve. It's Steve.
But he's all muscly on the back. That's Steve Picaro.
Well, I don't know if that's him, but he's on the front.
That could be a back model.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Henry Wright is mentioning Simply Red picture book. We got Wasp Last Command. I think we might be seeing some Wasp today. Okay, so on to me. My first one is UFO. My first one is UFO Obsession. And here's my fully signed UFO Obsession. We've got Michael Schenker on the cover. Speaking of becoming a little bit of a mascot, he's also on Lights Out. And, I keep forgetting the story. People email me and I look it up and I know the story and I forget the story. But I think one of those guys is apparently Phil Mogg as well. But we've got definitely a clear Michael Schenker with the quip. He says, why am I the only one without any balls? That's his famous line, right? And then on the back, you've got these guys. I can't remember who these guys are, if they're the band or not. And my next one is Hanoi Rocks, 2 Steps from the Move. And here you've got 3 of the guys on the cover, and I can't remember. I believe this might be Razzle over here, our fallen drummer. We've definitely got Michael Monroe. So we got 3 guys on the front and 2 guys on the back. And my last one is Queen the Miracle, last one of this batch. Yeah. So here we've got half of each guy missing, kind of thing.
Isn't that a true statement?
Yeah, so there you go. That's not the whole band on the cover, because there's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 eyes
and 1 body.
I think Queen has 8 eyes.
And this record sounds like it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a 5-eyed album, that's for sure. So that is my first batch. Let's take a quick look here. Yeah, we're going to be seeing some Max Webster, Uncle Meat, Ronnie Montrose Open Fire. Yeah, I don't think anybody's picked that yet. Rolling Stones Black and Blue. Yeah, there's a lot of these covers where that's almost a whole show in itself, where the band takes up the real estate of both the front and the back of a gatefold, right? BTO Head On. I can't quite picture Head. Oh, yeah, right.
Randy Bachman on the front.
Yeah, that's right. The whole thing folds out, and I think you get everybody on that one, right? Bruford Feel Goods to Me. Well, we're trying to stick with bands with the one guy. I think we're going to break that rule a little bit, but Cheap Trick, you're going to see some Cheap Trick as well. On to Tim.
All right, Tim.
So I actually had a different one picked for this initially, because I could have sworn that Foreigner's Double Vision just had Lou and Mick on the cover, but I forgot there's that smaller panel with the whole band. So I switched it for this. Not really an album, a record company thing put out in 93 called Classic Hits Live, but it's just got Lou and Mick on it. So, I mean, 2 guys do not a band to make. It's not a bad collection of live stuff. There's all 6 in the back, but anyway, so that's my first one.
See, Tim, a lot of designers say it's really tough to make a good album cover by putting everybody on the band. And if your band has 6 members in it, right? And if 4 of them are basically anonymous, it's you are going to lean this way, right?
Yeah.
But that whole record there's called a money grab. That's what that is.
Oh, it's songs from all, different periods, but
it looks like one of those budget CDs, that you see in the truck
practically
stops.
A truck stop tape, but not quite. It's a little bit more. It's a little bit more valid than that. My next 2 are best ofs. I mean, that's kind of cheating. There's a lot of those, but not all of them. The very best of Richie Blackmore's Richie Blackmore. Only guy in the band. Love the platforms too.
Yeah,
the platform shoes. And my last one for this round, a gentleman I had the pleasure of seeing a couple weeks ago, the best of Vandenberg. Now, this was obviously put out by Atlantic Records. That's obviously a Whitesnake era photo of Adrian. And apparently somebody went up to him with this record in Japan, and he thought it was a bootleg. He didn't even know it was out. And I've heard tell of that happening too. Like, people will come up and they'll get people to sign things. They'll go, I've never seen this before. And it's not a bootleg. It's a legitimate, release. But, such is the record, the music industry. So that's my first 3.
All right.
How ridiculous is that? I've heard that a bunch of times, but this example, this is a very well-known comp, right?
Yeah.
And you don't have this massive catalog. How do you not know this is out?
Somebody missed. Yeah, he must have missed a fax somewhere.
Yeah.
By the way, Adrian, we're putting this out. Yeah. But
there's a lot of bands like that they
now
don't
Joe
know.
Perry says that he didn't know Aerosmith's Greatest Hits was coming out until a kid come up to him. He had this red album cover. He says, "Can you sign this for me?" And he's like, "Why do you want me to sign it? It's your new album, dude."
Yeah.
But he did say that he was totally stoned at that time too.
Yeah, that might have something to do with it. Talk about
he must not have read the memo.
Yeah.
A lot of these guys, they must be getting the checks for the albums, but maybe the managers and accountants take care of this stuff.
Yeah.
100%.
All right, on to Grant.
All right, my first one, you're going to go Grant. The Beach Boys Summer Days and Summer Nights from 1965. Well, look, the band's on there. Well, the band's not all on there. Freaking Al Jardine was sick. Back in the 60s, we didn't care if you were well, sick. If we've got a photo shoot, damn it, we're going to go and do that photo shoot. So we did the photo shoot without Al Jardine.
Nice.
So he's not even on there.
He would have gotten even more seasick.
Yeah, really. So here's another Beach Boys one. We got the Beach Boys 2020 from 1969. And of course, who's missing is Brian Wilson. But, you know, we've got Bruce on there. Johnston, he's filling in for Brian. But again, during this era, Brian's very sketchy.
If you can't get the band, like Martin said, if you can't get the band all together, just put a logo on it or something.
Yeah.
Mike Love apparently wasn't there that day either. Just look at him.
Yeah, he was there physically.
Oh, he's there.
Yeah.
All right, then the third one. This is low. This is, come on, no one picked this. Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, Damn the Torpedoes, and it's just Tom holding his Rickenbacker 12-string.
That's a slippery slope because you can go.
It's Mike Love. It's Mike Love. Yeah, that's Mike Love's 12-string. Mike
Campbell.
But then you could go Bob Seger and the Silver Bullet Band, Bruce Springsteen, East Street Band, go John Jay, Heartbreakers. It's a slippery slope. So I
don't care. I'm saying it looks like
most of Bruce's albums though aren't credited to the East Street Band, are they? Though they're just credited to him.
Some are, some aren't.
Some are. But I think most of the Heartbreakers.
Born to Run.
I think it's just under Bruce's name, but
yeah.
But I mean, I think most of the Tom Petty ones up to Full Moon Fever were credited to him and the Heartbreakers.
Yeah.
Human Touch is definitely a Springsteen.
So that's three.
That's three.
Yeah. That's three. All right, let's go straight to Michael.
Okay, so my first pick is an album I don't own. So Grant, enough is enough, isn't it? With Enough's Enough. Animals with Human Intelligence.
Yeah.
Now this album cover only has 3 guys on it, but I swear to God, I have seen a picture, this exact image with the drummer Vic Fox in the image. I think when he quit the band to join Vince Neil's solo band, I think they airbrushed him out because I swear to God, I have a memory of seeing this image with all 4 guys. But there you go. Drummer left the band, 3 guys on the cover. This next one is a Dio. And I realized when I was looking at it earlier that technically all the band kind of is on the cover, kind of. I think you can see Simon Wright kind of in the background of that drum kit. I don't even know if it's Simon on the album, but it kind of looks like Simon. So maybe I should be disqualified for this, but
pick intermission.
The band's on there, but very small.
Yeah, it's almost negligible.
Just pick intermission instead.
Or just pick intermission. That's a good one. He's fighting the dragon.
Donna, you didn't have a hand in designing this cover too, did you?
I'm denying all
because this sucks
all
too.
Accusations.
I didn't know. Might be some of your work. I don't know.
None of my work.
I'm just trying to figure out what we're talking about.
Not guilty. Okay. Not guilty. My final pick of this round is kind of an iconic album cover. I really love this album cover, but it's The Cult. And unfortunately, I only have this box set, which is actually worse because this only has Billy Duffy on it. The actual album cover, if you look at it, you can see Ian Astbury. He's going like this. And on the back cover of this album is the bassist, Jamie Stewart. And they were without a drummer at this point. They had a studio drummer play on it. And then Matt Sorum joined them for the music videos and the tour. Matt Sorum, later of Guns N' Roses, of course. But I really love this album cover. I've always loved this album cover. It's kind of too bad that they missed the mark on this box set. But there you go, the original Sonic Temple. Oh, one thing I do have, though, is I have this with a hologram cover, which is kind of neat.
That's cool.
Yeah, so that's my 3.
I accidentally picked that album, so now I'm going to try to think of a replacement.
I think we're a couple that were picked multiple times.
And speaking of doubles, I think some are getting mentioned in the comments here. We got Black Sabbath Volume 4, that's coming up. Bad Reputation by Thin Lizzy, I think, is coming up. Mr. Wonderful, Fleetwood Mac. Judas Priest Unleashed in the East, technically says Uncle Meat. Too Many Movies, so that's a really good one. Kinks, Give the People What They Want, great choice. Bryan Adams doesn't really count. It's a little bit cheating. Duran, Notorious. Break Like the Wind, Spinal Tap. Joe Brezzo says, I'm just completely blanking on this one. Just go to AC/DC, Joe, and that'll fill up your entire 10 for you. Samson, Head On. All right, on to Johnny.
All right, well, Gareth Thomas just mentioned this one in the chat, so yeah. Let's throw up some Black Sabbath Volume 4.
All right, baby.
With Ozzy on the cover, and where's the rest of the band?
Well,
I don't know if I ever heard the story of why it was just him on the cover, but
I always thought that never looked anything like Ozzy, you know. Just something about that. It just looks like a completely different person from
This
the
is
moment I ever saw it.
This is Sharon's favorite album
Is it?
Well, I think it's
because
just,
it's just Ozzy on the front.
yeah, that's probably what it is. Yeah. Well, it's probably that frilly outfit that he's wearing. Because
Well, it's the
was
way
like
his
always
eyes covered too. It changes
Yeah.
the look of his face, right?
Yeah.
So
Anyway,
I think it's
so
cool.
my next pick, let's go up to a Canadian band here, and how about some Killer Dwarves and Big Deal.
Oh, great pick.
I love this album, actually. I always thought this was a good band. A band that I don't know why they just never got bigger than they could have or should have. But yeah, and I think from what I understand, he is pretty much a dwarf. I think from what I understand, he's pretty short.
Yeah, that's the gag. Yeah.
Yeah. But
Like, you remember when they were on Much Music, Mike, and they had them in the chairs and they made them look like even
That's right.
smaller.
Yeah, they had all four guys kind of like superimposed over a chair.
gotta make it. All right, last one on this round. The first album by Bonham, the Disregard of Timekeeping. So you got Jason and you got the
Daniel
singer,
McMaster.
Daniel,
McMaster.
thank you. And then somebody's flying over the bar, but then where's the rest of the band?
Yeah, that folds over to the back cover. I think that's Ian Smithson with the pool
Oh,
cue.
is that what it is?
Yeah,
Is that a fire hydrant?
Yeah,
that is a fire hydrant.
Yes, it is.
Is that the
great
same
band.
bar
Good
that
album.
they shot the Cowboys from Hell?
Yeah.
Same, very
Isn't-
similar.
Aren't they all on the cassette? Because the cassette is
The set
kind
is
of-
rectangular.
You are 100%
yeah.
right. You are 100% right, Jamie.
Well, I was going by that. So
Cool. Nice. Okay, on to Jamie.
All right, my next one. I showed this before, probably a year ago. This is an awful album cover. A 2003 album by Sponge. And you got just the lead singer on there, Vinny Dombrowski. And it's kind of like, at this point, like Everclear with Art, Alexa, whatever his name is. It's kind of just my band and whoever's behind me at this point. So that's what that kind of says there. Not a bad album. You know what? I did find a replacement for the Cult, and I paired it up with something to make it like a theme. So I've got a new theme here. The next one is Black Sabbath, but this was really confusing to people when it came out. Black Sabbath featuring Tony Iommi, 7-star, and only Tony was on the cover, and you're like, wait a minute. Featuring, and then you heard the single, what was it called? Love's No Stranger.
No Stranger to Love.
No Stranger to Love. And you're like, that doesn't sound like Black Sabbath. So what's going on here? And then you learn later it was supposed to be a Tony Iommi solo album and blah, 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 blah. So you get the gist. And then this next one that I just pulled off the rack, Alvin Lee, 10 years after Ride On. Wait a minute. Why does he even say Alvin Lee? Is it 10 years after? Is it Alvin Lee and 10 years after, like Bruce Springsteen and the Heartbreak, or Bruce Springsteen and the East Street Band? What's going on here? So if it just
I don't
said
know.
that, there would be no question that it's 10 years later. Or it's 10 years later. That's the name of the album. Right.
Oh,
Look at that. I thought Ride On was the name of the album. My eye went right over the word later. And
That's
so
very
scratch that one
confusing.
too.
That's
But I
very
say that I
confusing.
picked the Cult.
there, and then
you
we
go.
go. There's the Cult again.
Yeah.
That's
All right.
fine. Looking at that album cover twice. Yeah.
All right. Okay. So my first choice of this next round is the Clash London Calling. Love this album to death. One of the greatest albums of all time. Voted the greatest album of 1979. You got Paul Simonon, the bassist, smashing his bass. Apparently, because the bouncer said the crowd can't stand up or something, he says the bass was perfectly fine. And this is a famous picture by what's her name, Penny Smith, and she didn't want to use it because it was too blurry. But there you go. And yeah, they actually sorted out by having who is it? Joe and Topper in one small picture and Mick in another small picture. So that's how they got that evened out. And my next one is it was 7-star, but I just realized this, so I'll say this about the 7-star. It's like the volume 4 of the 80s, right? It's the fourth studio album of the 80s. So we got volume 4 with Ozzy, and now we got volume 4 with Tony. That's pretty cool.
Wow, look at that.
I think
Full
I'm the first
circle.
one to ever say that in the history of the world. So,
I think so.
and next I've got Yes, Time and a Word, which, by the way, my old Yes book that was broken into the 2 big hardcovers is now still available. They bought the stock from the old publisher. So you can get this from martinpopoff.com. But I wanted to show this also because that's, we also have a hard time all the time finding a picture where you could put all the guys on the cover of a book because it's rectangular, right? Portrait mode. And there's a perfect picture to do that. Nice spot for the text, blah, blah, blah. So, but back to the record. The problem here is Peter Banks is in the band, but he got kicked out and Steve Howe replaced him. And even though it's Peter Banks all over the album, it's Steve Howe in the picture. So the guy missing is Peter Banks. And that is my 3. And let's take a quick look. What else we got here? Edgar Winter Group. They only come out at night over in the comments from D-Rocker. Every Iggy Pop album. I've got an Iggy coming up that will actually work, that actually fits. MSG Built to Destroy. Yeah, we've got, that's interesting. So Michael, well, it makes sense that Michael's the mascot of his own band, but he was kind of the mascot of UFO as well. Next, Sensational Alex Harvey Band. These are all cheating a little bit, right? Mike and the Mechanics. Mad Season, Temple of the Dog. I can't actually picture who's on the cover of any of those.
Mad Season.
There's a Mad Season live EP that has Lane.
All right. Because the ones that drawing
Mad Season today.
Not anybody in the band. And Jane's Addiction, Ritual Dehabitual, Black Flag Damaged. All right, they're coming in. Diamond Dogs, Bowie. All right, over to Tim.
Okay, so I got another Canadian one, and Honeymoon Suite, HMS Live. This is a Frontiers Records release, and it's just got Derry Green and Johnny D on the cover. You can see the drum set, but you cannot see the drummer. Now, I know those guys are the focal point of the band and, the only original guys in the band at this point, but still, it's not a full band.
Well, I think the bass players, when I saw them on the cruise, bass players in it and the drummer.
I know, but this was from the early 2000s. So they had Rob Laidlaw, and they had a bunch of different guys on the rest of the band. Next one, I got careful cover up my CD because it's got that thing I mentioned on the irritating packaging. And this is Uncle Meat mentioned this in the comments. Max Webster, Universal Juveniles might as well be the debut Kim Mitchell solo album. As a matter of fact, Anthem went and did this, which I hate. But anyway, there he is in his yellow jumpsuit and, built-in lighter in his thumb, I guess. And my last one this round, this band has been mentioned several times. I'm going to go with one of the less disgusting covers because they've got some really bad ones. Fleetwood Mac, self-titled from 75. So there you have the namesakes of the band. You have the Fleetwood and you have the Mac V. I guess the back is the same thing. So that's my next 3.
Nice. Very cool.
Excellent.
All right. Over to Grant.
All right. So last one, this one was questionable. Slippery slope. But this is not a slippery slope. Damn it. We're going to look at Culture Club, Kissing to Be Clever. We've got Boy George on the front. But where's the band? They're on the back, but still. Just saying. My next pick, Steve Miller Band, Fly Like an Eagle. We've got, is this like the Tom Petty thing? Possibly. But Steve Miller Band, where's the band? You never see the band.
Is that Mike Campbell's guitar, though?
That is Mike Campbell's guitar, 100%. But anyway, so there you go. My next one, I'm going to go, this was mentioned in the chat. Rolling Stones, Get Your Yayas Out, and you've got what's his name on the the brain.
Charlie
Watts on the cover.
Yeah.
I was thinking does the donkey have a name?
Yeah.
He might.
Is the donkey a band member?
That's Jack.
But that's Mike Campbell's guitar on the donkey.
Absolutely.
Oh, that Les Paul, yes.
Oh,
Angus Young's the donkey's got Angus's SG.
100%. That's what's going on here. So there's my next 3.
Nice. All right, let's take a quick look over here. We got just some dude saying Jimi Hendrix Electric Ladyland for Ladyland. First 2 have all the members. Let's see. SRV was solo on all his albums, but Family Style. Guided by Voices, August by Cake. Huey Lewis in the News, Picture This. Pat Travers Band, Go For What You Know is coming in from Gareth Thomas. Neil Young and Crazy Horse. Yeah, these are all cheating a little bit the same way.
There's a lot of cheating.
Lucifer 4, a lot of cheating going on. How about Kiss solo albums? Yeah, that's true because those are all called Kiss albums. That's true.
Yeah.
In a way, right? Let's see. Hailstorm, Back from the Dead. Billy Squire. Well, that's definitely cheating. Let's
Cheating.
see. All right, over to Michael.
You know what's funny is that Alice Cooper had a band called, well, he didn't call it the Alice Cooper Band, but it was always the whole band on the cover. Unlike this artist that I'm about to unload on for my last four. One artist.
Boy.
We're going to go in chronological order. This is a guy that in the late 80s used to insist this is a band, to the point where he would have his band facing the camera in their publicity photos, and his back would be facing the camera so that the spotlight would be off him and onto his band, a band called Bon Jovi. And there he is on the front cover of the debut Bon Jovi album, but it's a band, you know, it's a band. And I think on the back cover, yeah, there's the other guys on the back cover there. They're just hanging around. I don't know what's going on. There's a street.
They look like rats.
Possibly a prostitute. I don't know for sure.
She's a little runaway, Mike.
She's a little
Yeah, that's
runaway.
right. She's a runaway.
She's a little runaway.
So this band called Bon Jovi put out that for their debut. And then for their second album, they clarified the modification by doing that on their album cover. And there's John again. Back of the album would have looked, I'm not sure what it would have looked like. The CD, maybe that, I'm not sure.
No, it looks the same as the front. It's the rest of the band, but it's the it's got the same effects that the front cover does, Mike.
Gotcha.
That's not too pure either.
So I stopped following this band in 2013 when their lead guitar player Richie Sambora left the band. I had no more interest, but they put out more albums with this guy's face on the cover. So in 2020, they put out a really, you'd never guess what they called the album. They called it Bon Jovi 2020.
That's cool.
And what is he doing? Is he coughing? Is he clearing his throat? It was COVID, right? I don't know what he's doing here, but it's
That's what he's doing.
At this point, they actually brought officially into the band Phil X and Hugh McDonald, who'd really been in the band since like 94, 95. They finally made them official members.
Mike. Really, as far as
really
playing
from
on
the beginning.
From the beginning.
Really from the beginning, but as a stage band member since 95. But then they have the audacity to do this for an album cover. You know, they've got like 7 guys in the band, and they did it again with Bon Jovi Forever, the most recent album. There he is. He's doing the thing where he's got his back turned to the camera again, but you can see it's John Bon Jovi. You can definitely tell it's not, Tico Torres or David Bryan. I wouldn't know where those guys are on the back covers for those albums because I don't give a damn anymore. This is a band that even if Richie came back, I honestly don't think I could be made to care about Bon Jovi anymore. Sorry, guys. That's how I feel.
Yeah. That ship has sailed for Ladano.
The Bon Jovi.
Tell us how you really feel, Mike. Come on.
You lasted longer than I did.
The SS Bon Jovi has departed New Jersey. Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
I never got on that Bon Jovi train.
Is that all of yours? Is that the last?
Yeah, that's my last 4.
All right, on to Johnny.
All right. So my first one is a band out of they were only around for a couple of albums in the mid 90s. But a long time ago on my channel, Grant and I talked about this band a little bit with a few other folks. And this is the first album that these guys came out with, a band called Love Coma.
Oh, yeah.
And the singer, songwriter, Chris Taylor is the man on the front cover.
Trying to find it. There it is.
Yeah, a little album here called Soul Rash. So I heard about these guys in like the mid to late 90s. And Chris Taylor will eventually go solo. He's got quite a prolific career, but he was the main singer-songwriter behind this band. Pretty cool band. They got a little bit of a mix of, Bob Dylan, The Cars, the 77s, maybe a little Beatles. There's probably a whole lot of other things. U2, yeah. That's all kind of thrown in there.
I first heard about that band in late March of 2025.
All right. Okay.
Wow.
Well, they were pretty obscure. So I'll give it that.
Good stuff though. Well worth checking out.
Yes. Very, very good band. Now this next band, these guys should be pretty familiar to everybody. Who else wants to gnaw on a little meat bone here with Twisted Sister, and Dee Snider and Stay Hungry. This was the cover. The picture that was like, oh yeah, that's the cover, but that's not what the Dee and the band wanted. I think they wanted something closer to what this was on the back. But
throw that up again, Johnny Metal. I'll make you big. They wanted, that would have been a better cover, I think.
Yeah, they wanted something more like that, and instead they got that. So with I think the story of the logo, and it was like a quick drawing that Suzette was messing around with, and they just took the ball and ran with it. Gotta love that. Okay, next one. I wish I had the original version of this, but everything I've got is like all represses, and it doesn't show the immense brutality and gruesomeness of it. But let's go back up to Minnesota now, shall we? There's a little band here called Impaler. Yes, there's the original cover. You know, that's Bill Lindsay, the singer there. He's the only thing he's missing from him is some Chianti and some fava beans. This was a 40th anniversary edition, so you don't completely even see you don't even get to see the liver hanging out of his mouth, for God's sakes.
Yeah.
But what a great little EP. Wonderful album. And Martin was right in the beginning when someone said Wasp. Of course you're going to get a Wasp album from me. Yeah, this is when everybody said, yep, it's the Blackie Lawless show. So go figure.
Gotta have Blackie.
The first album you had the full band. Next two albums you got Blackie. Well, then Blackie was like, yeah, no, you're not going to see me on the cover anymore. So there you go, folks.
Nice. Okay.
Excellent.
Quick look over here. Yeah, we got some Jethro Tull. Had some of that. In fact, Jamie helpfully showed a bunch of them. Audio Slave, Out of Exile, Come Out on Play. Yeah, also just D on the cover when you open the manhole cover. So that's technically no one and then one person if you manipulate the cover. Songs from the Wood, Jethro Tull, Captain Beefheart and the Magic Band. Kind of cheating a bit again. New Order, Low Life, Missing Persons, Spring Sessions, M says D Rocker, Susie and the Banshees, Superstition. Man, that's the band I've played the most in the last 2-3 years. Is lots and lots of Susie and the Banshees. The Cure, Disintegration. All right, on to Jamie.
All right, the last proper studio album from the Kinks, Phobia, where you just got Ray and Dave Davies, and Ray's almost like waving goodbye. Goodbye. That's it.
Uh-oh.
A lot of band members came and went, but there's your steady two for the last one.
Ladies and gentlemen, look.
Oh, he's showing up.
Holy crap.
I got my timing mixed up because it was daylight savings, so apologies.
That happened to me last week with a call.
All right.
Bloody daylight savings. Anyway.
Yeah.
Well, you're here now. So that's all.
That's all good.
Well, Peter, you're going next, and we're trying to go pretty fast because there's a lot of us, but we'll just have you do all 10. Just go.
Absolutely. For it. I'll zip through it. Yeah, no worries.
I think Jamie's got 1 or 2 more. So
I got 3 more. My next one I never owned. I always meant to buy it since the day it came out and never got it. Rainbow Final Vinyl, which is kind of like, a lot of band members have come and gone, kind of like the Kinks, but I've been the steady one, and here I am. That's it, guys. Show's over.
It's like he's the only one who stayed for the photo shoot after. Everybody just jumped on the bus and took off, leaving Recchia there.
Got their last paycheck and went.
Yeah.
My last 2 is, hey, we got some attractive girls in this band, so let's put them on the cover. Next one's a newer band, and this is their only album that came out last year, and that's Castle Rat, Into the Realm. I bought the set. So I saw these guys last year, and they opened up for Green Lung, and they were loads of fun. She's up there, barely dressed, fighting demons and monsters with her sword, and they actually kill her, and then she rises up again. Total fun. And that picture's awful. It looks like it was taken with a bad cell phone, but she is an attractive girl. And Dreamboat Annie from Heart. Hey, your Heart, but let's put those sisters on the cover. Let's sell some records. So there you go.
I think when they did Baby Lestrange, they were really trying to sell some records.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Little Queen as well, right? All right, let's go to Australia for a full 10-pack. Let's go.
Wow, we've never done this before. Here we go.
Yeah, this is great. Let's zip through it. Okay, starting off with, I think 1993, David Coverdale Whitesnake. Now, this is the UK version.
I hope that's right.
There he is.
All right.
Yep, spot on. This was the last time I think you ever saw David Coverdale on an album cover. The rest of it was all runes and tombstones, and it just looked it was just a complete blur. But look, there was a band behind it. There is Whitesnake is a band. You've just seen DC. So there you have it, David Coverdale. Speaking of another one in the Deep Purple family, we're talking about Gillan, Mr. Universe. There is a band. Where's John McCoy? Where's Bernie Tormé? Where's Mr. Underwood? They're not there.
Yep.
Cracking album, Mr. Universe. Obviously, Gillan is the figurehead, and he's out on the cover, and it is what it is. So Gillan with Mr. Universe. AC/DC, Power Age.
Yep.
There you go. When you think about it, there's only really two figureheads that you'd actually have on the cover if they wanted to promote it. It'd either be this guy, Angus, or Bon, but they chose Angus. So I think it's I know, Martin, you don't like a lot of the AC/DC covers, but I like this one. I think this is it's a special album, and I don't mind this album cover at all. I think it's a good
It's
one.
better than the Australian cover. I'll give it that.
Yeah. Cool. Another, keeping in the theme of Australia, In Excess Live Baby Live, or Live Baby Live. I don't know which way you want to pronounce it. Michael Hutchins, let's face it, was always the figurehead of the band. He's the one who had the looks, the charisma, the front man. And there he is. I think that was the live show in front of Wembley, about 100,000 people, and pretty good shot. You know, he's gravitating to the crowd. So there you have another example. He was always the one that was front and center of their photo shoots, Rolling Stones, whatnot. Michael Hutchins, In Excess. All right, let's go through to the 80s and a little bit of synth pop. Japan, Quiet Life. So there you go, lead singer. Guys, if you want to hear where Duran Duran got their sound from, this is the band. If there was no
100%.
Japan, there would be no Duran Duran. Great album, great band, and you know, there you have it. That's an example of a band, but it's the lead singer that's front and center. Tubeway Army. Gary Newman was originally a band. It wasn't just Gary Newman. The next album, I think, was the Pleasure Principle. He was Gary Newman solo, but prior to that, it was Tubeway Army, and they were a fully fledged synth band. And look, again, a cracking album. This is very influential right to this day in regards to industrial music, low synth wave, which is a bit of a genre of music at the moment. But Gary Newman replicas Tubeway Army. Evanescence, sorry, pronunciations. Fallen, she's the figurehead. There is a band. So not much more to say. I don't own this album, but I just thought this is a kind of a modern example where you've got the personality, the front person, the front lady, and she is basically this band captured in one.
Yeah.
All right. Now, the final three, hang in there with me.
No, this is great.
This is a bit of an explanation. And you go, what is he talking about? All right. Kiss, Dynasty, or as we say, Dynasty. Why is Peter putting this up? Well, to be quite factual, not all the band members played on this album. Where are they? Where's Anton Fink? Where are some of the session players? So that's my angle, that, you know, you've put the four figureheads of the band, but in reality, they didn't actually play on this album. I think Peter Criss only played on one song, and that was Dirty
Livin'.
Yeah. So it fits into this. Where's the band?
Yeah, for sure.
And the final two go even deeper into this sort of space. Boney M. Now, you remember Boney M, that German Caribbean pop disco act of the late 70s?
I remember them every Christmas.
Yeah.
Studio band. Absolutely studio. Who you see, look, they may have played live, but in the studio, it was Frank Farina, who the German super producer that was behind it. They had all session musicians, and these folks, probably their involvement with the Boney M albums was very minimal. And that segues into the granddaddy of all fakery. This duo handed back their Grammy. It was a big controversy, And I think this could be a first for the Contrarians to actually have this duo on, but it's only for scientific purposes, not because I like this album. And we're talking about Milli Vanilli. Where's the band? It wasn't those two guys because they couldn't sing.
That was also Frank Berrien's creation.
Absolutely.
Right, same guy.
So
Fab.
Yeah.
That's the trickery. That's my 10.
All right. Good job, Peter. Very cool. All right. So my final four, I'm going to start with Dr. Feelgood's Stupidity. So this is a band from the pub rock era. You've got Wilco and Lee on there and not the rest of the band. I don't like this pub rock stuff. We did a whole episode called What is Pub Rock or whatever. That was a lot of fun doing that. But Wilco's got this amazing guitar style. He's actually a really cool dude on his own. But I didn't really like this band particularly. I just watched a really cool doc on him. Like he got really, really grave cancer and he was supposed to die. And then they cured him. And he just kept going on and on for a bunch of years after that. It's a pretty heartening story. Next, I've got Iggy Pop and James Williamson, Kill City. Now, this was originally a demo that eventually got released, and obviously you've just got a caricature of Iggy on the cover. On the back, you did get a little photo of James and Iggy together, but not a great album, kind of stonesy, a little muffled on the recording. Like I say, I don't think it was a full-on album. But I remember getting this as a new release. Great album cover, cool title, Kill City. And next, I don't have a physical of this, but Silverhead. So this was a band that just put out 2 albums, right? This and 16 and Savaged. And so that's just Michael DeBari on there. And of course, he went on to Detective. He did solo stuff. He became a big actor, became a pretty famous guy. Just kind of like a, I don't know, hard rocky, Faces, Stonesy, Wild Turkey, whatever kind of band from that era. And then my final one is Thin Lizzy, Life Live. So there you go. There's my mostly signed one. I've never met Phil. I don't have Phil on it, but anyways, Life Live. You've just got Phil, and he also is just the only guy on Live and Dangerous as well. This is their the band's already, I believe, broken up by this point, right? When this comes out, I mean, they're never ever completely broken up. It's like on off again, like whatever's going to happen, sort of thing, right? But it is after the last studio album, and it's kind of a tired, bloated live album. You can hear Phil's voice isn't very good on it, so people don't really like this album particularly. But there's Phil, so that is my final four.
Final four.
And let's just see here. We've got Henry Wright says, I love Detective, fine band. I don't know if I agree with you on that one. Frank Marino, Mahogany Rush. I don't think we can see any of that. Steve Vai, Sex and Religion. That makes sense because it's that album is called Vi. So it's a band called Vi. It's kind of like Gillan, right? Public Image Limited, This Is What You Want, This Is What You Get. PIL first issue and second edition. Missing Jai Wobble says Chrome Destiny. Wilco Johnson. Did I not say Wilco? Did I say something else? Chilliwack, Look In, Look Out. More Jethro Tull, Killer Dwarves. All right, on to Tim for his final four.
It's funny. You reminded me of something with the Time and a Word, because that's very much like either of the covers for Kiss Creatures of the Night.
Right.
Because Ace didn't play on it, neither did Bruce Kulick.
Right.
So yeah. This is low hanging fruit too, because it's pretty obvious one. Thin Lizzy, Bad Reputation, but this is an egregious one. This is another one. Like, why you didn't always put the band on the cover? Why did you do it this time? Where's Robo? You're mad at him, but you can't let that get in your way. Like, this is just like, you look at this and you go, oh, they were a trio then? No, they weren't a trio. Yeah, mostly, but this is one of those ones. The worst example, and it's not a front cover, is inside of AC/DC's Rock or Bust, where Phil Rudd, obviously he was in legal trouble. They didn't put him in the photo shoot. Well, why do the photo shoot? Nobody has made you do a photo shoot. Anyway.
Good point.
Yeah, exactly. My next one, now, I'm not sure about this.
Yeah.
Nazareth Hot Tracks. Now, I always assumed that was a character of Dan McCafferty, but maybe not.
I think it's Maude.
Yeah, maybe. It's the guy. It's the
Maude from the TV show, right?
Maude? Like
yeah, it looks
Maud?
like
B Arthur. Yeah. I was thinking MOD.
B.
I was thinking
Arthur,
Maud,
yeah.
MOD, like the Who or something. But also, or it could be the guy from Audio Visions again. I don't know. There he is, but
All
because
right.
he's got
That
headphones
is-
on, I think.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's the first time the show Maud has ever been
Yeah.
mentioned on
And
this,
then there's
on this
Maud.
channel.
God will get you for that.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
And the next one, it brings to it an excellent point that Mike made with all those Bon Jovi ones, especially the earlier ones. But Cheap Trick Heaven Tonight. Now, this is all well and fine if you have the vinyl or the CD, but if you're like me and you grew up in the 80s buying cassettes, there's the front cover. You don't see anything else. Like, especially if it's a reissue of an older album. So that's all the band members you're going to see until you get another format. And then finally, technically, this isn't even him, but Queen, Made in Heaven. I could have gone with the debut, but I went with this one. I mean, that's a statue of Freddie, and then there's the other guys on the back. But so
I didn't know that. I thought that was.
I didn't know
Freddie.
it was a statue.
I think that's
I thought it was
I
him.
think
It's a statue.
I think that's a statue in Montreux, Switzerland.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Wow,
I'm
okay.
pretty sure that is a statue. I mean, that's actually the rest of the guys, but
Yeah.
I think I'm right about that. Maybe somebody in the chat can clarify,
Oh.
but I think that's a statue of Freddie.
I'm certain you're right.
Okay. So that's
Wow.
it. That's my
There you go.
You learn something new every day here.
Nice.
All right.
Okay, on to Grant.
All right, here we go. So, the previous one I mentioned, I mentioned Get Your Yayas Out. Well, you might as well mention Goat's Head Soup because you've got Mick on the front. Isn't it Keith Richards on the back?
That's Mary Poppins, though, right?
Right, it's Mary Poppins. But
With Mike Campbell's guitar.
with
Yeah.
Mike
And
Campbell's
Maud.
guitar. Well, this next one is Mike Campbell's guitar. If you don't know the story, April Wine Power Play. How can I not do a damn show without mentioning April Wine?
Right. So you kind of see Jerry Mercer there, but
It's
mainly
Jerry
just Miles.
and Miles with Mike Campbell's guitar.
Nice.
And the
Pretty
kid from the Who, It's Hard, playing the video game.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And you can't tell, but Maud is watching him play.
Yeah, and then there's Maud.
Maud.
With
This
Mike Campbell's guitar.
with Mike Campbell's guitar. This was
Yeah.
mentioned in the chat before. The Cure Disintegration. You just got Robert Smith on the cover. Love this cover.
He's another almost mascot.
I was just going to say that. He's practically
He's the mascot of Doom.
Yeah.
Or Goth or whatever. And then my final one, I'm going to go with Pretenders, Pact. You just got Chrissy Hine on the front.
Well, just
No
not
band.
even her whole face.
Hell, there might not be even a band on this record for all
Yeah.
I know. I don't know. I gave up after, what was the third album? Help me. My City Was Gone and all that.
Learning
I
to
gave
Crawl.
up after that. Yeah, Learning to Crawl. I gave up after that.
When Peter held that Japan record up, that's David Sylvian, right? That's the singer from Japan.
Yeah.
Man, that's a dead ringer for Nick Rhodes from Duran Duran. Holy cow!
Yeah.
Well, that's where he stole his look.
Again, yeah.
He did.
Yeah.
It's true, though. That is true. But I must say, as great as the first Pretenders album is, I think it's an absolutely perfect record.
I love the
Man,
first
things-
two. I think they're both,
first
both of them
two.
are a
I
masterpiece.
think the second one's pretty damn fine too.
The original band.
Yeah.
They captured magic on those first two records. They could never regain it again.
Yeah.
But those first two records, unbelievable.
Yeah. Wicked.
Yeah, I could have mentioned Get Close too, because I think there's no real band.
Yeah, it's just her and a guitar, right?
right. Mike Campbell.
Mike Campbell's telly. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, that's it.
All right, now just one more
Wow.
quick look here because
Yeah,
we got
go
a
ahead.
few good ones coming in. D Rocker Center Shot Down in Flame. We got Gareth Thomas mentioning Tiger Tails Berserk. Wings Red Rose Speedway. Yeah, some good ones coming in. Let's see. Van Halen 1 only has DLR on the back cover. Nice one. Scorpions in Trance. Nobody on that one. Let's see. Toronto Girls Nights Out. Yeah, I can't picture that one. But,
That's just got the two girls in the band on it, but I think they were a five-piece.
All right. Megadeth That One Night live in Buenos Aires. Foreigner Double Vision. Yeah, for some reason, Mick Jones and Ian McDonald get to be on the front cover twice, and the rest of the members only once. Very strange. Nice one, Brad Earp. All right. Well, there you go. Grant, wrap her
right,
up. We
cool.
did it. 1 hour.
Yeah.
Man, this
Woo.
panel is like, look at
Fire.
how many we're on tonight. Oh, wait a minute, Peter. I don't want to cover you up. Wow, you guys are a machine. I do want to thank the panel tonight, Mr. Ladano, Mr. Metal, Mr. Laszlo, Martin, and myself, and of course, Mr. Durling and then Mr. Kerr. I appreciate everybody in the comments. If we didn't get to your comment, you know, we try. But if you please leave a comment, we'll look at it. If you'd like to be on these shows, we'd love to have you. We have a Patreon, a lot of great content there. You get to see the shows early. We also have a Ko-fi, buy us a pint or a cup of coffee. You'd appreciate that. We take donations. We didn't get one dono tonight, for God's sakes.
No William Walker, that's why.
Where is William Walker tonight?
Exactly. Yeah.
Where's
Well,
Marlon?
anyway, where Marlon, he's hit and miss. But anyway, so thanks everybody for showing up. We will be back next week, I'm assuming. I don't know what we're talking about, but I'm sure we'll come up with something.
Let's
So-
have a quick meeting, everybody. Stick around if you can.
So we'll see you next week. Keep it clean, everybody, and we'll talk to you. See you. Bye.
All right. Thanks.
Well,